The reason Georgia's even having a runoff goes back to the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement. NBC's Priscilla Thompson now on the controversial history of the state's runoff law.
For more than 50 years, Georgia has used runoff elections to decide races from members of the state legislature to who sits in the governor's mansion. But do people really know why the runoff system was established in the first place?
I'm not sure, really where it comes from.
No idea.
We have to determine who the actual winner is, with a clear majority.
But some experts say that wasn't the original intent of the law.
After the Civil War, blacks were a major part of the Southern electorate. Once Reconstruction and military occupation of the South ended, white Southerners spent the rest of the 19th century squeezing blacks out of the electorate.
White Southerners developed a county unit system to give less populated, but primarily white, rural parts of the state more political power, meanwhile disenfranchising black voters. In 1962, the Supreme Court said the system violated the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution.
At that point, many Southern states, including Georgia, looked for other devices, and the runoff system was one of those devices.
Enter Denmark Groover. Groover, a member of Georgia's House of Representatives, fell out of power, and he blamed, quote, Negro bloc voting for his loss, according to a report by the U.S. Department of the Interior. A vocal segregationist, Groover was determined to stop black Georgians growing political power.
Groover explicitly talked about how even if the white vote were divided in the first election and a black made the runoff, whites could come together as a majority to win in the runoff.
In 1964, the runoff system became law in Georgia.
No blacks have been elected to the senior offices in Georgia, meaning governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, ever. So apparently it worked.
Not all runoff systems are rooted in racism. But if you look at the 7 states that hold traditional runoff elections, if nobody gets a majority, all of those states are in the South. As for Georgia, in a year marked by widespread protests and demands for racial and social justice,
no justice, no peace.
The state's runoff system remains a glaring reminder of the systemic racism ingrained in the fabric of America, lingering in one of the values we hold most dear, democracy.
And Shep, I should point out, in the 1990s, the Department of Justice actually sued the state of Georgia. The Assistant Attorney General said that the runoff system had a demonstrably chilling effect on the ability of blacks to become candidates for public office. He went on to call the runoff system a, quote, electoral steroid for white candidates. Now, the courts ultimately decided that there wasn't sufficient proof of that, and there hasn't been a major challenge to the runoff system here since. Shep?
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.